What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Game, your one-stop shop for everything cool in video games. We have a special episode this week. In fact, we are live on Twitch at twitch.tv/theofficialitg Monday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're doing a live stream for Players vs. Cancer. Now, if you do catch us at a later date, come back, swing by our Twitch channel, and help donate and support the fight in cancer. Now, we have a jam-packed episode, and the fact that we're doing a special one. Nate and I are here to talk about what we know and what we hope to see from the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. But if you want to be a part of the show, head to InsideTheGame.ca and submit your clip and to end off our show. But let's get started with the Inside Scoop.
The Division 2 is getting its second 8-player raid, Operation Iron Horse, coming in a free update on June 30th. Here's a quick little trailer. When the doors to the raid open, agents are to storm a foundry where the nefarious True Sons are pumping out weapons in an effort to retake what they've lost in Washington, D.C. A level 40 version of Operation Iron Horse will be available to players who own the Warlords of New York expansion, while a level 30 version will become available to all owners of the base version of the Division 2 on July 7th. Both versions of Operation Iron Horse can be played in normal and discovery difficulty modes. The Division 2 is currently available on Xbox One, PS4, PC, Uplay Plus, and Stadia.
Well, Fortnite is back with another season, and they're spicing things up, or cooling things off. In the latest season, Chapter 2, Season 3, Splashdown, you can waterproof your surroundings, survive more than just the storm in the aftermath of its revenge. An island adapts to its flooded way of life, stay afloat, and take on the new challenges. Sharks. Be careful, sharks are out there and they're hungry and dangerous, but they also make for fun transportation. Latch on with a fishing rod to reel, steer, or jump across the waters. You can also encounter new enemy types, defending yourself from new marauders as they crash down onto the island and challenge for your own survival. Build Umbrella is one of the latest additions where you can build your own umbrella. Be careful from the choices though, because these choices you make are permanent. And as time goes on and the waters recede, even more locations will be uncovered as the water disappears, and you'll uncover new ways of transportation. That is Splashdown, the latest update in Season for Fortnite, and one of the coolest additions is Aquaman. Man, that was cool.
So Xbox has provided a streaming service for quite some time, the Xcloud. Now, this has been in beta for quite some time, but finally, this year, it seems like it's going to be in almost full release. To all Game Pass owners on Xbox, it will be available to you. So this is pretty exciting stuff because not only that, but moving forward into 2021, it will be also available to the Xbox Series X. And just to give you an idea on what exactly the Xbox Series X is going to bring with xCloud, well, let's check it out. This is quoted from The Verge. Microsoft will use its new Xbox Series X hardware and xCloud servers next year, and provide some big performance gains for its cloud streaming efforts, particularly on the CPU side. This next-gen processor is far more powerful and capable of running 4 Xbox One S game sessions simultaneously. It also includes a new built-in video encoder that is up to 6 times faster than the current encoder that Microsoft uses on existing xCloud servers. So wow, what a huge upgrade to look forward to next year with the xCloud servers. But let's get back to this year. We get to actually see it available to all Android mobile devices. That's pretty exciting stuff. Unfortunately though, for Apple, they're kind of having some privacy issues with their store, so hopefully moving forward they can maybe fix that, because I would personally love to play it on my iPad.
Agent 47 is back for the dramatic conclusion to the World of Assassination trilogy. That's right, Hitman 3, the official announcement trailer, was just dropped by IO Interactive, and they're detailing a few new things for the upcoming game and some cool stuff that ties in Hitman 2 with this new one. So you know what, without further ado, let's check out this trailer. The Hitman 3 campaign will take you around the world on a globe-trotting adventure. You'll visit sprawling sandbox locations where you'll hunt down and eliminate your targets using stealth and style or action and aggression. Hitman 3 will be the ultimate place to play every game from the trilogy. It will be possible to import locations that you already own from the previous 2 Hitman games into Hitman 3. And you'll be able to carry over unlocks and progression for Hitman 2 into Hitman 3. Hitman 3 arrives on Xbox Series X and Xbox One January 2021.
A while back, Corey and I reviewed Vigor, and now they're already on to Season 4, and they're bringing a new update with 5 vs 5. In Season 4, Warlords, you can expect a new Battle Pass theme, game mode elimination, armory cellar, face paints, new tools, a jammer, mortar strikes, of course, new weapons, and a new comm station overhaul. If you haven't checked out Vigor yet, I definitely recommend. It is free to play, and it has a huge player base, 4.5 million players. So, there's somebody to shoot.
There's been a job posting from NetherRealm Studios, and they're looking for a principal software engineer. And what this means is that they're looking for someone to work with the lead engineer to develop state-of-the-art graphics. Oh, this makes me excited because they're basically looking for someone that kind of has a little bit of a sixth sense of gore with their graphic design. And Mortal Kombat and Injustice, they actually name these games in the job posting, so we know that these games are coming to next gen. I can't wait to see whatever that's gonna be. It's gonna be a long time till we see anything, but you know, this is really exciting news.
Nate, today was a very special Inside the Game as we're talking about next gen, as we're getting ready for next gen consoles with the Xbox Series X as well as the PlayStation 5. And EA just had their EA Play Live event just yesterday as well. And we'll be recapping this all and getting everybody ready for next gen. So why don't we get started with Microsoft's Xbox Series X and what we know.
And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
So kicking things off, Nate, will be Xbox and the Series X, and we all know the big flashy numbers. We're talking 12 teraflops, 4K, ready for 8K, even though nobody has that 8K TV that we can all afford yet, up to 120 frames per second, and a 1 terabyte hard drive space, something at this point that I think we both feel is absolutely crucial, and even maybe a little too small. Nate, what else do you got wrapped up for specs?
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty, because this stuff's kind of like, even for me, I don't really understand a lot of it. So let's go with the CPU, so we got 8C/16T Zen 2. So this is actually the same thing that the PS5 is using, so that's pretty cool there.
Yep.
CPU clock, we are at 3.6 gigahertz. And then in brackets we have SMT 16T. We'll have this in the background so you can actually look at it. And then we have 3.8 gigahertz with no SMT and 8 terabytes. So the PS5 is actually different. We'll have to get to that later when we talk about the
PlayStation
PS5.
will be next.
GPU, we have RDNA 2 and 3328 cores. So it's different from the PS5 as well. It's actually stronger. The GPU clock is 1.825 gigahertz. So that's a little bit lower than the PS5's. So I don't know if GPU clock, is that the load time? Is that something to do with that? Or no, that's their SSD. I'm gonna sound like such a noob. But anyways, their memory is a 16 gigabyte GDDR6, which is the same as PS5. Memory bandwidth 10 gigabytes. So that's 10 gigabytes, and then in brackets 500 gigabytes a second. And then we also have the lower end, which is 6 gigabytes and 336 gigabytes a second.
So those are pretty impressive specs moving forward with the Xbox Series X, right? Like, we're obviously, we get that sense of, this is definitely next gen. And 4K is going to be true 4K gaming, not that enhanced version that we're all used to currently. We're going to get into the true 4K, but getting to that 1 terabyte hard drive, because the more we get on with next gen, we go way back. Like, games used to be megabytes in size. Now they're now they're gigs, and they're only getting bigger. So when you get a 500 gig hard drive with the current gen, that quickly adds up now when games are like Call of Duty, 100 gigs, 200 gigs, 150 gigs to download. All of a sudden, eating up that space is only a handful of games. So when you go to 1 terabyte, Nate, do you honestly think that's enough for 1 terabyte for the next gen?
So here's the thing. PlayStation 5's is going to be 825 gigabytes.
It's a weird number, man.
So it is a weird number. But I think with these custom SSDs that they've made, man, they like 1 terabytes, I think where they've capped out. And then maybe in two years from now, like 1 to 3 years, I'll even say,
sure,
we might get that upgrade where it's that, they finally kind of worked on the technology to make a bigger SSD without having these heating problems. Because I don't think these consoles like PS5 and Xbox are not going to have heating issues. Xbox Series or Xbox One X is pretty much, I'd say, a perfect console, man. It doesn't overheat. It's super quiet. Like, there's, that technology is already, they've kind of mastered that. So that's why I think the Series X is bigger. It's, significantly. We're looking at like about 12 inches tall.
Yeah.
By I think like 6 inches wide. So it's not huge. It's not that bad.
Well, I think
I'm pretty impressed, honestly.
I think Xbox learned their lesson, obviously, from the Red Ring of Death, what they've kind of been really famous for, right? So now they've gone so much further in technology, and they've actually split the motherboard, separated to keep airflow more current and cooler. They got a vapor chamber within the console, and they've got whisper quiet fans that they've put in as well, because no one wants to sound like they got a jet engine in their living room taking off. And the biggest thing is they want quiet, and they want it cool, and they don't want anything to overheat. But obviously, going back to the Red Ring of Death causes such a huge problem. Back on the 360 days, how many consoles did you purchase, Nate? Like, how many Xbox 360s did you have? Nobody wants to do, I had 4 consoles for that generation, because overheating issues, right? And you get into that, and then getting past that, now we talk about storage being a concern, but Microsoft is actually compromised by giving us an expansion slot on the back of the Xbox Series X and giving you a card. Something, Nate, I honestly didn't anticipate to actually come back. I remember playing back on the PlayStation, and you'd have memory cards that you pop in and out, right? Like, you'd be using these memory cards. Oh, I gotta play this game. Okay, now I have to grab my memory card, swap it out, plug in that memory card. So you'd have 4 or 5 of these things kicking around, and I don't really want to get back into that frame of mind either, where right now we currently each run an external hard drive with 3 terabyte external. Yours, I think, is actually a little bit bigger.
I got 4 terabytes, so.
Exactly. So it allows us then to keep it on the system, not worry about swapping in and out. But for others, maybe this is a solution besides buying a big, massive external hard drive. Here we go back to these expansion cards once again.
The biggest thing is with this is that they're built specifically for the Xbox so that games will run at optimal speed and just like perfectly. Sure. Whereas, you know, the external hard drives we have, man, it takes forever to boot up a game on my Xbox One. So this is where the PS5 kind of is short-handed, man. They don't have any, they have like the capability of doing what we do right now with our current generation of consoles. But, you know, yeah, it's annoying having a memory slot, but man, it's so tiny. It hardly takes up any space. It's like about 10 times smaller than my external hard drive. One of them anyways. So, you know,
for sure. You're going to lose it, though.
It's like a little bit of a step back. Yeah, well, no. Yeah. Who knows, man? Maybe we'll get memory card slots in our game cases again. You know,
no,
if you ever buy an actual
who buys a game case anymore? No, we always download our stuff. So my biggest fear again, though, is how many of these cards do I have kicking around, and then which one do I have to put in so I can go play that game, the next Forza game, or whatever. I don't think it's going to be as big of a
deal as you think it's going to be. I think if you have, realistically, dude, how many terabytes of games do you play regularly? Not that many. Yeah, we cycle new games all the time, but you just get rid of them anyways after. So I don't know. 1 terabyte's weak, but it's the best that we can get right now, and I think it's a huge one up compared to Sony's. What Sony's got going on.
Well, so yeah, Sony's coming in at 825 gigabytes, which is weird to say the least. Like, that's just an odd number.
It's basically a terabyte, or like
basically, right? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know how that's gonna. In the end, it's not really gonna matter. I think they are gonna, as they expand on next gen consoles, are we gonna get the Xbox Series X 2.0? And then that'll have a bigger hard drive. But if they were to go with a larger hard drive now, the problem doing so would then be upping the price of whatever they're going to launch at. So no one knows the actual launch date of next gen consoles. There are speculations right now. Just recently in an investor's call, the CD Projekt Red team announced that Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed by a month, moving to November 19th. Now, the speculations going with this is the fact that because they're so heavily partnered with Microsoft for CD Projekt Red, and the fact that Cyberpunk has kind of been showcased on the E3 floor and more Xbox events, that they've moved the release date of the game to coincide with the launch of the Xbox Series X.
That totally makes sense to me, man. Like, that's a smart move. And when finally Xbox does their actual reveal, Halo and whatever else, I feel like Cyberpunk might be the start or it might be the end. You know, where they're like, all right, and by the way, on launch, get Cyberpunk first on Xbox One X or Series X.
Sure, and they said moving forward with Xbox Series X, you're going to be getting a lot of enhancements. But for Cyberpunk 2077, that enhancement version will not be coming until 2021, 2022. So they're still working on the game.
We were kind of talking about this, like, most of, Witcher 3, for instance, they came out with their Ultimate Edition or their fully bundled edition about a year or so later. So I could see, that kind of being as an source of advertisement, being like, it would be kind of around that same time. We're like, get the full experience, best experience for Cyberpunk on Xbox Series X.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's kind of how I think they have it planned out. And, whatever, I'm not totally disappointed, man. It's still going to look amazing and be incredible.
Absolutely.
And then maybe by that point, once I beat the main story, maybe I'll want to revisit the DLC and see the enhancements,
Yeah, and Cyberpunk, being with CD Projekt Red, is also known for going with a lot of free content and a lot of free updates. Yeah. So, The Witcher 3 saw one update after another come for free, and then actual DLC that you had to purchase. And there was, I believe, 3 of those. And they were...
There's something like 16. I might be wrong on this.
No, I think you're right.
I promise I remember there were 16 DLCs, and 3 of which you had to pay for, and they were huge. Like,
like
the equivalency of the game, practically.
20, there were like 20 to 30 hour expansions for story plots on them. Like, CD Projekt Red is a special team. So for Xbox then to team up with them, I think is a smart move. And then we get that special edition too for your Xbox.
Think Keanu Reeves will come out this year? Oh, it's COVID. Maybe not, eh? Maybe we'll get to see him from his home.
Okay, well, that's the other side. So Xbox did release a somewhat tease of what we can expect to play on the Xbox Series X. The only downfall was they were all third party. No one saw first party. We just saw the release of PlayStation 5 and their event, which showcased first party, second party, and third party, where Microsoft at the time only focused on third party. And we are going to see here in the next probably couple weeks another event out of Xbox showcasing first party. I want to touch briefly, Nate, on third party. The Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the big showpiece. That was supposed to be the big showpiece at the event. And though they said we're going to reveal gameplay, they honestly really didn't. They just revealed more of a trailer than anything else, more of a cinematic trailer.
A cinematic trailer in the game engine.
Exactly, yeah.
In-game engine.
So they also revealed The Medium, Dirt 5, Scarlet Nexus, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Bloodlines 2, Scorn, Bright Infinite Memory, Horus, Second Extinction, Call of the Sea, and The Ascent were just to name a few. And they were all impressive, some more than others. But I think it was we felt it was a good showcase. Scott and I watched it live. We were rather impressed to see what was coming ahead, but all these games sound to us like you're gonna get them on the PlayStation as well. And we were left wanting a little more in the fact of what was coming from the first party side. And that's what we're gonna get into next. Nate, let's kind of dive into what we expect out of Microsoft's next event, as they're gonna announce more Halo. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Halo, like everyone's been waiting for Halo Infinite, and they teased it last year, and they're gonna be damned if they don't show anything, man, on this game. Leaving it, like,
can you imagine?
I've been really long overdue. Halo 5 was kind of my letdown of Halos, so I've been long overdue. And I don't know, like, I don't know, we could see some stuff from Obsidian Entertainment.
Yeah,
that's the name of the company. I could see something coming from them. I don't know if it would be like an Outer Worlds 2 or anything like that.
No, I think
because they're working on Grounded, right? So
that's right. Which just went
they're probably gonna show. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So Grounded just went to Inside Xbox. So if you are an insider, you can actually download the demo of that right now and check it out.
That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. I've got it downloaded. I just haven't made it there yet. But
they're gonna talk about that and be like, it's maybe when they actually do their video, they'll be like, it's finally out today or out very soon.
Yeah,
and then optimized also for Xbox Series X when such and such date, because we're gonna get a date. I think we're gonna get a date.
You think we're actually gonna get a release date when they announce the first party lineup?
I don't know. Like, I really want to think so, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I'm just being too hopeful.
I think you are, to be honest. I think it's
like,
a little
but just
too
what
early.
are they gonna wait till? Like,
I don't know. The end of summer, fall. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's out in 2 months. That's what.
Thanks. I'm glad I saved my other $400.
Well, you're already gonna save your money. You're already packing on that money. Make sure you're keeping it put aside. But at the same time, you're going to see a lot of enhancements moving forward. Microsoft, with the fact that they've added Game Pass, have really put a focus, and a heavy focus, on the fact that everything moving forward in the Xbox ecosystem, whether you're on PC or the console, will be cross-gen. Like, you'll be able to take it and play it anywhere. And there's a big, heavy focus now as well with the Project Xcloud, taking your games on the go. And you're only starting to see more and more of this evolve as Microsoft gears up towards the Xbox Series X. So when you buy Halo 5 on last gen, you're still able to play it next gen. Halo Master Chief Collection, same deal. Forza Horizon, that sort of thing. Everything's going to move forward with you. Whether you have Xbox, Xbox S, the Xbox One X, or the Xbox Series X, as confusing as that all sounds, they want you to buy the game once and carry it on moving forward in the Xbox ecosystem. And you're starting to see a lot of the games do that and follow suit. And I think it's a smart move for Microsoft to kind of keep on this bandwagon and allow them to
smart delivery, man. They really need to push that smart delivery.
They are pushing the smart delivery.
Smart.
Well, you don't want to buy. How many times have we bought, and we've talked about this in the past, but how many times have you bought Super Mario Brothers? Right? Oh, another Nintendo system comes out. Another time I'm gonna buy Super Mario Brothers. We talked about GTA and the fact
5.
that GTA 5 I own it 5 times, of which I think I bought 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's just every time there's a certain game you want to keep, and you want to make sure you're able to go back with that. And Microsoft doesn't want you to lose that. They want you to keep that and grow on their platform. And by doing this smart delivery, Game Pass, Project Xcloud, they kind of keep you in that family.
Yeah, man. It's a really smart move on their part, man. Wow. I'm just curious to know, like, if it's gonna be like how many games are gonna hop on at third party.
Well, yeah, that is
we have
the biggest
seen
thing.
some for
Yes.
sure, like the big ones, Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed. Like those are 2 really big ones.
And then,
And then-
that's such a. But again, going back to Microsoft wanting to keep everything in the same family, what a step up to get Ubisoft, to get CD Projekt Red to jump on and say, hey, yeah, you know what, we're cool with that. Instead of going, well, we want the money, so no, they have to purchase it on the next gen. We haven't heard whether or not PlayStation's going to play in that family as well, or in that pool. Are they going to allow us to keep going forward? They are working on back compatibility, and we'll get into that, and we'll talk about Mark Cerny in a little bit coming up in today's show. But right now, for Xbox, the fact that they were able to get Ubisoft to agree and CD Projekt Red to agree, and the fact that, you know, some of the biggest titles coming out this year are going to be on last gen, or which are, in our case, current gen, right? We're talking about the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, right? So the fact that they're going to get them to come and launch this fall and then carry over without the consumer having to go out and purchase the game again is a big move by Microsoft.
Yeah, man. I remember, like, when I heard that, it really coincides with their whole backwards compatibility too, because it would kind of, you know, like, especially GTA 5, for instance, we're not gonna have to buy it again. It's gonna, you know, that, or at least I really hope that Rockstar is gonna kind of optimize it for the Series X, like they are with the PS5. Like, it's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It does itself really well with this smart delivery. It's perfect, man. And backwards compatibility, man, we have to, like, give our hats down to them for that, because PS5, yes, they're doing it, but they're gonna have, like, the legacy content, and you're looking at maybe 100 to 200 games, and probably, like, you know, there's a lot of those oddball games that you really love that probably aren't going to be on that list. Whereas the Series X, there's no Series X without the disc. There's only the option with the disc, because you can put in any of your discs from all the way back to early 2000s. So that's like that's a huge plus, man. They're doing a lot of steps in the right direction, and if their first party games that they showcase are legit, like if they can pull off what Sony did with their huge event,
Yeah.
then they're gonna, I think, have a really good chance in this generation of gaming, you know?
No, that's
Because PS5, PS4 clearly blew Xbox out of the water, and they've definitely pulled themselves out. I would be curious to know what their actual sales are, because they kind of give us little bits of numbers of, you know, Xbox Live users and that kind of stuff, but we don't know console numbers. So
No, we don't. Microsoft's pretty secretive when it comes to what their actual numbers showcase. As you said, right? Sony's really just blown them out this generation, reaching over the 100 million units sold, where Microsoft is probably half to 3/4 of that, maybe. So we'll see what comes in the future with Microsoft. But when it comes to what we want to see for first party in the next showcase, Halo definitely going to be there. I think we'll see the next Forza Motorsport series, because every time you launch a new gen console, like we saw with PlayStation, right, you got to have that next racer that showcases all the bells and whistles and the shiny.
we saw the Gran
new
Turismo
toys.
6,
Exactly.
right? So
7. But
Seven.
yes, yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna see that. I want to see, man. At this point, and I keep saying it, and I've been saying it now for years. When is Fable coming back, Nate? When are we gonna see Fable?
Oh, we
It's
better
been so
see it.
long.
We're not going to, though.
Well, what do you mean we're not going to? We have to see another Fable game. It's been
I
far
just
too
mean,
long.
like, this year, I don't think, like, maybe we'll get a little teaser, because that's definitely a huge miss on Xbox for the last generation and a half, like they've really just dropped the ball. So with Fable, if they bring that back, I could see, you know, it just leeching over or grabbing over that many more fans.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna get that that showcase of people that have bought, like when I initially bought the Xbox 360, I bought it because Splinter Cell Conviction was exclusive to the 360. But I'm like, well, since I have the 360, I've heard this game called Fable. Why don't I pick that up? And then you get Fable 1, Fable 2, Fable 3, and you get this following, right? And then it's been dormant and gone for so long. And we've seen iterations come and go of that franchise. Some never actually saw the light of day. But at the end of it, right, there is that following that are dying. People are dying to see a good, solid Fable game. And it still has that name. And what's up? Here's another one too. They did close it. They did cancel it. But Scalebound, to me, I thought looked awesome.
Looked pretty cool.
If they could revamp that game to maybe work for next gen for the Xbox Series X, like I thought they had something there that would have been special. But they canceled it, unfortunately. They are working on Everwild over at Rare right now as well. So we'll see.
That looks pretty cool. But you know, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a big game, and I can see, you know, like one of those few million, like kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest, that kind of like maybe that kind of big. Maybe I don't know if it's gonna be Sea of Thieves big, like that game.
Sea of Thieves
is huge.
It is now, but it's because it's also been in years of development, right? So again, you're gonna get Xbox Series X enhancements moving forward for Sea of Thieves. What else does Rare have a plan for Sea of Thieves moving in next gen? Because that has taken off slowly. Like it had a slow start. I think it started off well. People got into it, but then they really fell off of it as well. And they just keep iterating and keep adding and kept adding to it to the point where now there's a massive following for Sea of Thieves. And every time something new comes out, I was like, oh man, I should jump back into that one. Kind of one of those games, you know, it's always there. It's always in the back of your mind that, yeah, this game is cool. We should check it out. And moving forward, I think is really going to step up with Sea of Thieves being one of the showcases for the platform. But again, getting back to Halo, Fable, we're going to get Forza. We've got to have newer titles, like new IPs. I think is going to be a strong push coming out of Microsoft as well. We're going to see the next Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice is the next one. That looks not my style, but I know Scott and yourself were going to be all over this one. And now they were able to get the team behind that with Ninja and secure them for the platform. And they also said that that is going to be on the Unreal Engine 5, which we saw showcased not too long ago as well.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's, you know, yeah, we'll have to see. The next few weeks, once we see the big Xbox event, this is all kind of, a lot of the mysteries are going to be solved.
Hopefully. What do you want to see? So we touched on the fact that Microsoft is going to have one console only. What is the perfect sell point for this? Now we are Canada. We're in Canada here, so our price might be a little different than some of our viewers. But for us, for Canadian dollar, where's your sweet spot, Nate? Can they do the 600 again?
No.
Man, you didn't really hesitate. You're him and Han, but at the same time, it's
this
like
is what I'm worried about. Okay, so PS5 has their 2 editions of console.
Yes.
If the one that's discless is cheaper,
it will be
Xbox. Do you think it will? Like 100%?
Absolutely. Yes.
So this is where this is all. They're gonna burn themselves again, like they.
This is where they're gonna.
Stupid.
Okay, this is the problem we had. So when Microsoft launched the Xbox One, it had the Kinect built in, which upped the price by $100. And this is one of the major issues when it came to launching their platform, was that Sony for the PlayStation 4 was $100 cheaper because it did not include the camera. The camera was an extra for Sony, where it was included with the Kinect when you bought the Xbox. And that's why we had a $600 to $500 difference when we're buying one console over the other, and Sony just basically took off.
Yeah, man. I can't see Xbox making that mistake again. That's what I really don't know what to feel about this. Like, I can't really have an opinion on it. I could see $500 Canadian though. I think that's
Is that what you think? $500 Canadian?
They're gonna be the cheapest. Absolutely the cheapest.
So Nate's going in at $500. I honestly feel that this is gonna be $600.
Yeah,
I do. I think.
And then what's the PS5 going to cost?
All right, that
going to cost
is our Xbox discussion. That's what we know about the console. That is what we predict about the console. We would love to hear your thoughts over at InsideTheGame.ca. Up next, we're jumping into the PlayStation 5. All right, Nate, we are back with the PlayStation 5. Sony just revealed the PlayStation 5 event, and we watched that one live, Scott and I, again, checking it out, and they came out swinging. Swinging for the fence, man. They had so many games, first party, second party, and third party. But we're going to kick things off with the PlayStation specs itself. And it's coming in with 8 times Zen 2 core at 3.5 gigahertz variable frequency, 10.28 teraflops compared to the 12 with Xbox. It's got a GPU architecture custom RDNA2. We're going to get the 16 gigabytes of GDDR RAM. And the biggest other kind of spec that we saw, of course, is the hard drive space coming in at 825 gigs. It is going to be also USB supported with a 4K Blu-ray disc drive. Now, those are pretty big specs. Most of those match with the Xbox Series X. The biggest one being a little under would be the teraflops as well as the storage. But again, it's one of those things. So there are going to be external options for storage when it comes to the PlayStation family. But we're also still waiting on Sony to kind of give us the okay and the nod as to which ones will fit that bill as far as what will work best moving forward. Right now, what they say is you can bring over your old external hard drive on your PlayStation 4 and keep those games. Right now, they're talking about 100 games for backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4 that have been tested and work. So they're going to allow you to take those games with you, but they want you to keep them on the external hard drive and not fill up the hard drive space on your PlayStation 5 moving forward, because that hard drive is designed specifically for the PlayStation 5 so that the next Spider-Man, Miles Morales, will be able to run at top-notch speed and all that. So Sony's biggest focus was the fact that they're really working on the fact that there are no load times, and that between that, ray tracing, and their big focus on sound distribution and how you're going to hear when you play the game. The fact that when someone is above you, you're going to get that sense and that feeling of that surround sound experience where the footsteps are up on your left or your right side as they walk, right? So if we're playing Rainbow like we often do, Nate, and they're upstairs, we're going to get a sense of what direction they are. Not just that they're up there, but they're also on one side of us or the other. So I think that is a cool focus moving forward. And they've also enhanced the DualShock controller with the fact that it's going to called the DualSense controller. Very unique design. And let's talk about the actual design of the router. I mean, the PlayStation 5. Because when they announced this console, it was a big jump in the fact of its design is so unique compared to other generations. We've obviously seen, the George Foreman grill from the PlayStation 3 days, and then the new sleek design of the PlayStation 4. Then you got into the Pro, which basically just added another layer to that console, beefed it up a little bit. And now this one is, so you can stand it up or you can lay down flat. And then they also come in with 2 versions. We touched briefly about this as we ended off with Microsoft, but PlayStation 5 is going to have a disc version as well as a discless version. So again, remember how when we talked about Microsoft when they launched their Kinect were $100 cheaper, and I think this is how moving forward Sony is going to kind of keep that ball rolling, is they're going to be able to offer one console a bit cheaper once again.
Hopefully not $100 for a disc option.
I bet you it is.
You know what? I don't think so. I could see $50 because I could honestly see them slapping it between the middle. You know,
Sure.
It's not quite as expensive as PS5's disc version,
Right.
With their bump version. But if they have the discless version, it's probably, you know, like let's say $450 for the discless version, $500 for the Xbox Series X, and then $550 for the disc version of PS5.
What'd you think of the actual design?
I don't think it's
going to
be $100 difference. I really don't think they're going to make the same mistake, man. They did that.
Sony didn't make the mistake. That's the thing. Microsoft did.
That's what I'm talking about. I
So-
don't think Microsoft's going to make that mistake again.
We'll see.
You're crazy. You think $100, man? You're nuts.
Well,
if you
if
think
you
that
compare-
Xbox is gonna sell their console $100 more than the PS5, you're crazy.
More than the discless version, I think
don't
they
think
will.
it doesn't matter, man. They're not gonna sell. They're not gonna market their console
Yeah.
for a higher than the PS5 by that much.
Time
Never
will tell.
in
We're gonna
100
find out
years.
soon. But what did you think of the overall design of the PlayStation 5, Nate? Definitely
Alright, well,
a unique twist on that console.
It's very futuristic. It looks super cool. I was excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it some flack. The disc version looks pretty silly. Like the bump, it looks kind of ugly in my opinion. It's kind of
Yeah.
gone to that 360 almost look, Xbox 360, where it's like lumped in, you know, like that.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, that's whatever. It's also almost 17 inches tall, which
That's
is
a-
humongous.
that's
That's
a big
almost a
console.
foot and a half long. So you're
Yeah.
looking at about a third that size for the Xbox Series X. So that's kind of where I'm a little, and you know, it doesn't look that nice laid down, man. The PS5 is meant to be stood up because it's
Yeah.
a router. It's meant to be stood up. It looks better, and you have to use the stand. You can't. They recommend that if you don't use the stand that it comes with, it's gonna tip over.
Which is
So-
scary when you spend that kind of money and then your console falls over. So definitely use a stand. But I definitely
So-
want to. I want to lay it down. I want
I
to
think
lay
it looks
mine
sweet
down.
though. Don't hear me wrong. I think it looks so cool. The blue lights, the white and the black. I love the cross. I think it's
Yeah.
perfect. But it's really tall. I kind of like. I'm
It
more of a
is.
practical guy, I guess. I like just the mini fridge that I'm gonna have underneath my TV with a nice green glow.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm excited for the PlayStation console itself. I think the thing looks very unique. Such a different twist than what's out there. I'm glad. I like the fact that they went bold with it too and did a couple different tones with the white, the black, and the blue. Made it different colors, so it is gonna pop when it is underneath your TV, whether or not you got it tucked away or not. But it is gonna be there, and you're gonna see like, holy crap, that stands out amongst everything else that's underneath. Whether it's a white console from the PlayStation 4 or the black one, this one's gonna pop from every other console you currently have under there. I think it's kind of a nice little addition. Now moving forward with we're gonna get like a Spider-Man version or whatever the next.
Well,
Big
that's the
game
thing.
is-
Well, I
right?
guess you didn't hear about this recent little tidbit of news, but PS5s are going to be fully customizable. So they have tons of designs. I saw
course.
the Assassin's Creed one. I saw a Spider-Man one. I don't really know the full details on it because I don't have the article in front of me. But
Like, does
I
a
was just
flap
scrolling
pop
through
off and you
Twitter.
put it on?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, which, yeah, it's like kind of cool. 360 did it, and it really didn't look good.
I was gonna
So,
say, I
I
remember
don't
those
think
days.
it's like not gonna look good if it's like a slap-on sticker kind of thing or a
It's not
snip
worth
into
it.
your edges kind of thing. You know, like.
Oh man. So
But
not
I
only,
don't know. I'm curious to know because they never make an ugly-looking console. So
No.
both Xbox and PS4, both of them have phenomenal custom collector's editions. So.
That's true.
I'm
Very
definitely
true.
excited to see what else they'll bring because I don't think they're gonna have any other designs. It's just gonna be the one at launch, right? Or do you think they will have a collector's like a Miles Morales edition?
Maybe, because we're going to get the new Spider-Man Miles Morales around holiday 2020. So is that actually coming as a launch game? And now since we're talking about games, why don't we talk about the games that they did announce at the PlayStation 5 reveal? And they also announced a bunch of accessories that we'll wrap into eventually as well. But coming out of the first party and second party studios, we had Astros Playroom, which was, if anybody has PlayStation VR, knows Astro is probably one of the best PlayStation VR games there is. So to see Astro's Playroom come out, not all that surprisingly, to be honest. They also followed up with some Demon Souls, which
That's cool.
is getting remastered by Blue Point. And Blue Point is known for incredible remasters from the ground up. So definitely looking forward to that one. Destruction All-Stars, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West by Guerrilla. Thank goodness, man, because now there was no date on this one when they announced it, which is unfortunate, which then leads me to believe that this Horizon game is just not going to be a launch title, Nate. And I think that is really unfortunate. But if Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is, then I think they've done that on purpose because they don't want to cannibalize their own lineup. Moving forward, when they come to launch, they want to be able to spread out their games.
Yeah,
they also announced Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Returnal by Housemarque, which looked awesome, and Sackboy A Big Adventure. Sackboy A Big Adventure will be taking the place of Knack this year when it comes to the launch of the console. So we'll see how that goes. But
what are you excited about it in all with all of those games? What are you most excited for? What are you actually excited for? I'm pretty excited for about half of them there. Half of them sound pretty sweet.
So I'm not a Gran Turismo fan, I'll be honest. I'm not a big sim racer. When it comes to racing, I fall into the line of an arcade racer, more like the Forza Horizon series is my jam. But if we're gonna pick, obviously, dude, it's like Spider-Man, the Miles Morales looks awesome. It's not following the multiverse. Thank goodness I didn't want to follow the Spider-Verse at all. I wanted to stay away from that. This looks like it's their own spin-off. It's their own story, which is going to be awesome. It's its own adventure. It looks fantastic. But it really, for me, it is Horizon Forbidden West that really kind of sets the bar. But again, I don't feel it's going to be a launch title. I think it's going to be in the launch window. Yeah, I think honestly we're going to see the console launch this November. Is what I'm predicting. I think they're going to follow suit with Microsoft and launch in around, I say, I give about a week or two window between the two consoles launching.
Yeah.
And then Horizon, I don't feel would launch until January. They want a couple. We're going to get, I almost guarantee you, Astros Playroom for launch or Sackboy A Big Adventure. One of those, because you need that arcade family adventure platformer game, right? You need that aspect when you're launching a console. I think they're going to launch with Spider-Man. Coming off of last year's Spider-Man from Insomniac was an amazing game. Like, honestly, it took Spider-Man for me to that next level of, okay, this feels phenomenal. Like, it was so good to swing through the streets and play that game. And then to follow suit with everybody having such a following and love for Spider-Man, it only makes sense to then launch with the next Spider-Man. People can wait a little bit longer for Horizon Forbidden West, I think. But hopefully not too much longer, right? Like, I loved Horizon.
When was the first one launched? Was it a spring title or a fall title? I can't remember.
That's a great question, Nate. And
if it's spring, because I feel like it was spring, man. I feel like we were working together at the old place, Robertson. And I think you got a review code for it while we were working together. And it was in the spring. Am I wrong? Probably not.
You're probably
Let's see if my memory is
February 28th.
Okay, so I was right. It was late winter.
Late winter, early spring window-ish kind of thing, right?
So I could see the next one coming out 2021, early 2021, since they showcased it.
Right.
But do you think they're gonna change it to like a fall release and try to compete with all those big guys that come out in the fall?
No, I think they're gonna launch it in January. I think they want to launch the console with Spider-Man and move forward that way and have a big strong release and then go, hey, by the way, we all know you're waiting for the next Aloy story. Here it is. Come get it in January. And then so they're gonna follow momentum, right? I think they want to do drops that keep you enticed, because the problem is when you launch a console, you need to cater to not just one group of people. You need to cater to a bunch of people so that they all buy in to the console at once, right? So it's not like, okay,
racing, platforming,
exactly,
shooting, story, maybe even an RPG. You know, you're right, man.
You got to have that mix, right? So if you just can't, so The Last of Us Part 2 just launched, okay? The Last of Us Part 2, if you haven't seen our review, definitely you're missing out. You gotta go see that thing. It's on our website, it's on our YouTube channel, go check that out. But it is an incredible artistic vision of a game, and the hype behind this was so overwhelming for everybody. And even though it had the leaks, it had the draw, right? So everybody funnels to this game. But if that launched on the PlayStation 5, that's only going to capture a certain audience. So you can't.
You're missing out on the 106 million PS4 units that are already sold out. That are already sold right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really big market that you wouldn't want to miss out on. And to finish off the PS4 legacy so strong, like, wow. You know, that like PS4 made history 100%. It's already, like, is it the most sold console? If right?
Not, it's almost there.
It's the second most or the most sold console of all time. Exactly. And not to mention, like, you know, you watch videos and even the maker or the creators of PlayStation didn't even understand why they were selling so much. Like, you know, it's just like it's pretty cool. So
I think people can wait a little bit longer, but Sony's smart when they release their games. They know who they gotta cater to, and then what's enough to keep them enticed to come back the next month, right? So you have another big release. So you're gonna have Ratchet and Clank just to follow, like, you know what I mean? So you're gonna get Spider-Man 1 month, and then you get Ratchet and Clank the next, and then after that, then you get Horizon Zero Dawn, and then after that, you get into the third-party titles with Bugsnax or Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo. Godfall is going to be, from what I understand, a launch title, which is a looter slasher, they're calling this game. Goodbye Volcano High. Grand Theft Auto 5 will be coming to the platform at a later date, but will be coming again for free. So good ties in with Sony.
Kind of weird, man. Like, it's cool, but like it's a bit of a misstep that it's not on launch. Like, you can play your GTA 5 on Xbox Series X day one. Know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So I don't. It's cool, but I'm just a little bit like, it's almost like a funny thing to advertise. Like, we're a game that everyone's already been playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And playing copies of, you can't play it right away.
Yep. They've also announced Hitman 3. That's coming in January. But again,
cool.
all these are third party. So you're going to get a lot of these games too that are going to be coming to both Xbox and PlayStation. Hitman 3 is going to be on both platforms. But that showcase here at the event was incredible to see Hitman. This will be wrapping up the trilogy. So we're big time fans of Hitman. IO has always had a special place in my heart. I followed them since day one. So to see where they're heading now to wrap up the story in Hitman, I can't wait. They also announced Jet, The Far Shore, Kena, Bridge of the Spirits. I thought it looked cool. That was more of a platform Pixar feel. I thought it looked awesome. Little Devil Inside. Then they announced the NBA 2K21 will be coming. We all know basketball. NBA 2K is going to be on every platform. Probably, maybe even make it to the Switch. Who knows? Oddworld, Soulstorm, Pragmata, Project Athea, Resident Evil Village. I thought had a strong showing. The showcase that they were there as well.
Yeah.
Solar Ash, Stray. I know Scott is super pumped for Stray. That was that cat showcase piece, and he went all mushy. It was weird. Tribes of Midgard and the Pathless, and those. So that was Sony's event, which I thought was such a huge strong showcase compared to what we saw with Xbox and their games reveal for third party, right? So even the third party games here I thought were better for most of them than what we saw in the Xbox event. And moving forward with PlayStation, you know what? I think they're ending strong, and I think they're starting off strong moving forward into the next gen of console coming in with the PlayStation 5. And they also, of course, like Sony does so well, likes to sell you all the extras. And they showcased the Pulse 3D wireless headset. So you're going to get that audio, the 3D audio surround sound feel. Right. They're coming out with a new camera featuring dual 1080 lenses, which I thought it's a step up from their last camera. I'll admit that. It's good on them. They want to really focus the ability then for everybody to broadcast and stream from home whenever you're playing, so you can capture all your great moments and all that kind of stuff. They have a media remote, which I thought was just kind of weird. I don't know, like I never use my consoles as a media platform. I use it to play games mostly, and that's kind of my main focus, or Netflix. And then they got the DualSense charging station, which I kind of feel is essential, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. So it's pretty interesting how PlayStation's kind of stuck to the batteries, not being able to change them.
Yeah.
Going back to that charging dock, what do you kind of feel? This is like that. It's like a double-edged sword, man. It's really nice having those controllers, but the batteries don't last forever.
No, they don't. But neither do the AA's that are constantly dying in my Xbox controllers.
Yeah,
so
but
for
that's
me,
the
I kind of
thing.
like it. I just slap it down on the charging dock and I'm done. And I just walk away, come back.
So here's the
I have
problem,
4
though,
controllers. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up by what we feel we're going to be getting to pay for the PlayStation 5 when that launches. Now, there's 2 consoles to remember. One with the disc, one without the disc. Thoughts, Nate?
So I'm gonna set it in like a weird spot. $450 for the Xbox Series X, $500 for a disc version of PS4 or 5,
Right.
and then around $450 to $400 for the disc-less version.
I think we're going to be at $500 for the PlayStation 5 disc version, and I think we're going to be at $400 for the disc-less version of the PlayStation 5.
And this is all Canadian, right?
All Canadian.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Man, you think it's gonna be 400 Canadian?
Dude, if it is 400 Canadian without a disc, that is going to sell like crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's not going to be $400. You're crazy.
Those are my thoughts.
I kind of think that too. I kind of. No way.
Oh man,
This technology is way too expensive, man.
It is. It is
I think we might be in for more of like a. I think we're being optimistic.
Who knows? That's our thoughts on today's show. Everybody, thanks so much for checking it out. And of course, hit us up over on InsideTheGame.ca. Let us know your thoughts on what we're going to be paying for the next gen consoles. And what do you think of what's going to be coming in next gen, PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X? And don't forget to also check out our Discord, where you can be chatting with us more about all things gaming. That wraps up this week's episode. There it is, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, all that great stuff we can look forward to, and then, of course, our predictions. Who knows if we're right or not? We're going to be in there for $600 per console? Or is Nate sneaking in there with $500? We'll find out soon. But you can hit us up at InsideTheGame.ca, where there you submit your clip and end off our show just like Luke did. Floral Dutchess coming in with a nice sweep in Rainbow Six. Check this out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week Inside the Game.
Op 4, last stop standing. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.